when I'm still gonna do a real quick one about it's always gonna be about the devil worshippers. All right, but this time the Democrats, well, YouTube been putting, well, you don't know, YouTube been putting these videos in my recommendations. This one chick about, all these, these converts just came into, and they all, I don't know, like I said, I don't trust too many of these, well, not none of them really, none of the YouTubers, because they in a financial bind, especially if they had money over the last couple of years. They with the Doge, they probably screwed right now, so they'll do anything. But so anyway, they put this new chick I had never heard of. She got a pretty decent following. That's fine, but she's and usually as I'm watching the videos, I already knew, she was a big time, you know, and yeah, just like I thought as I'm going through the videos, they kept putting her in my recommendations. But that was, yesterday, but now they don't do it no more. I don't know, for some reason. They do it one day at a time and then they don't do it. But and then I see one that, just like I thought, you know, she was, into that demonic shit as usual. Not just, a person who wasn't a Christian but was normal, but no, all into the, the occult and all that shit. Just basically following the crowd, all that, whatever. I see this video. I used to contact the dead. And see, so she's still a new Christian, so nobody told her yet. But there's a few people, and I told her too in the comment section yesterday. You wasn't talking to dead people, you was talking to demons. That's just like what the BLM lesbians said. Oh, we could talk to dead people.
This video because I feel like Halloween is
Did they, today, these fools been mad. They just sent, it's too much sun out there in the front, too much glare for the videos, but he probably gone now. So they sent old boy with the green truck by. They sent that, so they on a thing today. These motherfuckers, yeah, they gonna have to be. But then I forgot this YouTube. Yeah, they gonna have to be. They gonna have to learn the hard way. Ain't no fucking around and find out, as they like to say. These niggas really crazy. They losing every. Klaus Schwab. Did you seen that? He didn't step down. The world acting Mister. You will own nothing and you will be happy. He didn't step down. He didn't quit. Probably running somewhere. Probably flew somewhere to hide. With one of his some whatever, because he's fucked up with trying to take over the whole world. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Like, nah, bro. You will own nothing and be happy. Nobody, so he's gone. Yeah, it's like we still gotta wait, find out what's going on with the ATF and all that stuff. But yeah, like everybody's saying, why is it taking so long? Everything else got a clear and precise plan except for the gun rights. Getting rid of all this crap with the Democrats put into effect over all these years. But anyway, to now they circling again. But like this one chick, like I said, they just put her in my recommendations a couple of, this must be yesterday or something. But
is a perfect time to make a more spookier video on this channel. So since I was a little kid, I have been obsessed with the supernatural. As young as 8 years old, I was trying.
With her age group under 30, or however old she is, that's what that was the whole plan from by the really the 70s, but definitely by the 80s, you know, Halloween is just something cute, and it's, you know, the witchcraft. But I never looked, because matter of fact, even my family, when I was real little, and I guess it was still the 70s, we did Halloween, but I just didn't like it, you know, because, you know, one, we were, you know, we didn't have no money, so I always had the little cheap shit. I didn't like them, you know. I did, you know, especially since I was so little, you know, wasn't nobody spending no money on my costume. So, it was, you know, that little cheap mask with the rubber band on the back, I hated that shit. And it's probably Spider-Man or something. What was it? You know, yeah, probably for like $5 or $4. It go over your clothes, the front, and it's just what was it? Plastic, and that hard plastic mask. It's like I don't like that. And then as I got a little bit older, I always, you know, like wanted, if anything, okay, well, I can't get the expensive Wolfman mask that got hair, you know, that's expensive. I never had that. So by the time I'm like 7, I ain't, you know, I don't give a fuck about this shit. And then by the late 80s, by the time like 87, all the churches, not all, but a lot, you know, black churches, white, everybody, especially down south, 86, you know, they started having their own service. It's on Halloween. You know, you know, you bring the kids to church instead of doing that. But by then, like I said, I was like 12, 13, and I didn't have to, I wasn't doing nothing. So, but I just knew they were doing the little Halloween service, so the kids didn't have to be out. It wasn't about the danger, you know, with the all that. It was, but you know, most of it was more the, you know, just the devil worshiping and the whole thing. And so, but yeah, but like she said, she was, I let it play. She was deep into that shit. But that's supposed to all these, you know, these people. And really, what it was, they put another video of hers, and she was more like the rest of them, exposing, doing, because she had to do research on the, you know, the music industry and all that. Lady Gaga new song, and Taylor Swift and Katy Perry, all the who are open witches or whatever. Beyonce, yeah, all that.
With the supernatural. As young as 8 years old, I was trying to summon a witch, and she went by the name Bloody Mary. And depending how old you are, you might be really familiar with the story of Bloody Mary. But legend has it that in the 1800s, a piece of string through the hole that was attached. Just even imagining waking up.
My point, I'm getting to my point about what she was talking about in this video, because something else came up as I was about to go on X. What the hell is a darkness convention?
That is a terrifying mental thought. And also, if you've ever heard the term saved by the bell, this is actually where that came in blood. They put a partake in this activity of trying to summon Bloody Mary, which you would stand in a bathroom with the lights off with one candle.
I mean, they made movies about, you know, horror movies, modern day, you know, 90s, 2000s, probably the 2000s. And South Park did it, you know, with Biggie Smalls. Say Biggie Smalls. But
would see her in the mirror. Now,
also Candyman, yeah, really what most black folks remember in I think it was 90, 91, I know it's still high school. Candyman, that's probably the same thing, you know, Candyman.
Today to tell you that nothing happened. But my interest in the spiritual realm did not end there. I was drawn to movies like The Exorcist.
Well, I mean, everybody watched it. It was like, you know, but that ain't it either. I just...
The Ouija board is, and you can roll your eyes at me all you want about that. I have used the Ouija board more times than I can count. And I
see, like I said, her first video I saw, for some reason they put in my recommendation, but I already knew it. This is what I was talking about. I already knew that she was really into that witchcraft shit, and not just some new convert who just found Christianity, but, you know, an atheist. I'm you know, I'm not. I don't believe in none of it. And then finally something happened and they started believing. But either way, It's always one of them,
with
one
people
of
that
these.
didn't even believe the Ouija board is real. And I know I wasn't the one moving the piece because I was skeptical at first too, but the Ouija board is very much real. So I became a full believer in the Ouija board to the point where I actually wanted to use it by myself, which they say is a very big. I'm saying goodbye. I'm not doing this. According to most beliefs and paranormal elf, and I knew
See,
this,
yeah, see
and I
that clip
still wanted
5 years
to
ago.
cross that line. I started moving, my whole body like just got hot. Like I wish you guys could feel me right now. I'm like burning. I'm saying.
See, that's another thing. You see these regular looking people, and they all around. That's what I'm saying. These motherfuckers that be walking by, and and then yeah, they doing all the spying on us, the Democrats, and all this witchcraft, and this is what they doing. These motherfuckers. That's why I said the Salem witch trials. I made up a new phrase: make the Salem witch trials great again. It's not the dunking it until they drown on all of it. You admit you're a witch. They won't, because they won't, right? That's what happened. Now you see why. It's the stake or the stones around the neck. Save yourself if you're a witch. Well, he wasn't a witch because they drowned. Nope. Now oh shit, it just came to me. That's why they let themselves drown. Because they didn't care. They wanted to go with the devil. Some of them.
I'm not doing this. According to most beliefs and paranormal experts, you should not use a Ouija board. I went so crazy and might just be a coincidence, okay? But my life went to complete hell after I did this alone. Everything started to fall apart. But besides that, long story short, I've always been obsessed with the spiritual realm. And we're living in a time where a lot of people are realizing just how real the spiritual realm is. In 2024, it has become an increasingly normalized activity to worship crystals, use tarot cards, and even grab a Ouija board in Walmart or Target. Even some of our favorite artists are embarking on a spiritual journey. And I don't know if you've been in Barnes and Nobles lately, but there is a full-blown section just for witchcraft. I guess what I'm trying to show you guys here is that this stuff is very, very real. The spiritual realm is very...
Now, the simple answer for everybody, what about religion? It's a religion. It is. But the difference is, and which kills y'all try to force y'all. Now, talking to someone about being a Christian, that's not forcing, because the person can, nah. Knocking on their door. You want to hear the good news? Nah, I'm busy. Click. I gave it the office. Slam. You slam the door. But witchcraft spells, y'all are forcing it on other, just like Katy Perry. Lady Gaga, a new song, whatever. That's trying to put a spell on the whole, even if it's not real, it don't matter. You're trying to force your religion forcefully on other people. So that's why that's the nail in the coffin for witchcraft, pun intended.
Even the roots of Halloween itself is directly associated with talking to...
It did, like we said.
Directly associated.
And see, we thought it was just sluts and hoes, but all Halloween is, the girls who are too cowardly, I guess, to be a full-time stripper, get to dress like a stripper for one night.
Witchcraft and magic. Many are being drawn to the supernatural because they are finding out how real it is when they use tarot cards and magic spells, the power that can be found in these things. But if you dive deeper, you find out how powerless all these things become.
But yeah, I just, this just, like I said, they're always the same. Something new. It used to be a real big, they were, all the way into that witchcraft shit. Yeah, here it is.
A name, and that is Jesus Christ. But supernatural because they are finding out this video today to draw your attention to the spiritual realm. There are many people who are aware of it, and in 2024 you only need eyes to see that something spiritual is definitely going on. Even the name Hollywood itself is directly associated with witchcraft and magic. Many are being drawn to the supernatural because they are finding out how real it is when they use tarot cards and magic spells, the power that can be found in these things. But if you dive deeper, you find out how powerless all these things become when it comes to one name and only one name, and that is Jesus Christ. Here is me a few months before I gave my life to Jesus, dressed up as a demonic cheerleader, wearing the number.
It's like I always thought, that's why. But everybody had been said that. The comedians, movies. Yeah, they're either the slutty nurse or the slutty cheerleader. All this, some of these women in their 30s or 40s. Yeah, a barmaid or something. That's all it is. The Halloween, but not this all. But so, but I'm not warning like people like her. It's all good. Your enthusiasm and this and that and your research. But at this point, it's like everybody knows. You know, but not as deep. I think she does have more detailed information. But at this point, I still haven't seen anything that she said that is not known. I mean, she didn't. I guess maybe YouTube. She can't go into detail, but it's like literally what I thought when they put it in my recommendations. But the video was, the one. But then also they today they put the goddess. Never heard of that. They put them. And what is this rooted choreo? I never heard of that. And I just saw that about 30 minutes ago. How long? I'm at 16. About 20 minutes ago. So whatever they're doing, they're getting. That's what I'm telling you. This is a good sign. They're doing all this. These these female witches, the whites, all of them. That's like I said, the supposed Lady Gaga got a big song, worldwide. That's out in the open, that is some kind of spell, protection spell, more than likely in answer to us in the United States electing Trump. And the abortion, it probably has to do more with the abortions. All that. They're mad, no more sacrifices. Their master is like, now you got to go all the way out. No more hiding. I'm not a witch, this and that. Go all the way out. Because this girl, the one I was just talking about, I was looking at that yesterday. That's how I know. Then that video, yeah, stuff that I don't know about.
This dynamic is going.
But like, what is this stuff about?
So we're gonna go into the next piece, and the next artist will be me, the goddess Anahata, and this piece is one that I wrote.
There you go, the goddess Anahata, whatever. So now they're getting desperate. They're just putting it in my recommendations. For some reason, they still just really super focused on me, scared of me. Whatever this rooted choreo is, I don't know what that means. Is that some kind of dance, witchcraft dance, rooted choreography? Because, in black culture, roots is like voodoo that women do. She put roots on you. You meet a new girl, she cook for you. Oh, I cooked you. You come over for dinner, I'll cook. You think you're going to get some pussy to it. She does. But the homies told you, oh, if it's red, don't eat it. Spaghetti, lasagna. Never eat a spaghetti that ate your mama or your sister or a restaurant. Because they put the period juice in there. We was teenagers. So she fall in love. But, now it comes to trying to find out that shit, has might be some truth to it. Why these men out here crashing out, killing these girls for leaving them. I guess she put the roots on them and then left. It's more than just good pussy. They put a spell on this nigga and then left his ass, and now he don't know what to do. Oh, damn, I just thought of that. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's probably why all these dudes just killing these girls, and they're, what's wrong with men? We're all like, all those men, like, why, damn, nigga, just too many women. Even if they are, brainwashed, woke, crazy bitches, like, other stories I've seen recently. Meaning, all the last couple of years, all that, they're the prize, even though they've been banged out by I don't know how many dudes, and they still, we have standards. And matter of fact, one of them other ones, what's her name? Kendra G, a black chick. Supposedly she changed from like 3 years ago, where the guy had to be super tall and rich and now she's telling all the women, look, I fucked up big time. Basically. And, they're all surprised, but we're all like, why are you listening to anybody, women and men? Why are you listening to people tell you anything? So-called celebrities or even a real person with talent fucking, Denzel Washington or somebody. Why are you listening to any celebrity? Whether they're just a celebrity for no reason or they actually got a job. But whatever this is.
3 things that rooted choreo can teach you.
And don't even explain what it is.
To following your heart, but there's also a science. 2, learning how to respect your boundaries as it pertains to strength, flexibility, and feelings. And the practice also shows you that it fluctuates.
Maybe if I click on it, it'll say what it is.
Diet, relationships, etc., etc. And 3rd, which is one
why would they put
my
this in
favorites,
my
that listening is layered.
recommendation?
There is a lot we hear and acknowledge, but
all right, but right quick. Well, wait a minute. Let me go through. Let me see
so
that
3
again
things
because
that
see what the hell they talking about. Rooted. Okay, that white girl just she's that she had a video, which is again is most of the stuff that everybody I know knew, about the music. And I'm like, well, that's why they changed gangster rap seriously, because you think most songs I listen to, you don't really too much remember the chorus. And I always, ever since I was a little kid and rap got real big by the late 80s, I hated songs that all it was a fancy chorus. I mean, it had lyrics, for 3 verses, but you don't remember it. And it's a big hit, but it's just basically music and dance music and a chorus, a fancy chorus that you can say over and over and over again. And that's the biggest part that everybody know. Like every song I know, you remember every verse for the whole 5 minutes or whatever, and you barely remember the chorus, but you remember all the words. And they said but it's like, I'm like, no, that's not the same. Our music now, y'all music with that Simple Simon, the lyrics is is no depth. There's not a story in it. And it's just the chorus, some simple ass shit, the whatever. And it's just like I've been saying, it's like we all, I'm like, I never really liked music, like that, where, the chorus is all that's the best part of the song is the chorus. The chant, like they said, it's a chant. Like I said, they've been started. I've had another thing I had been peeped out, that manifestation. But she actually did her research and said it's in Hebrew, and that's where they get all. But that doesn't mean because it's Hebrew and ancient that is biblical. It witches are in the Bible, the Old Testament. So yeah, all that means is they just took it and turned it into manifest. Like I said, you're not manifesting shit. And nowadays, it's too many Christians. God is in control. You're not manifesting. You might try to manifest some little things in your life. You're not manifesting love. You're not manifesting money. You can pray and ask for all that stuff, but manifesting, no. It's not going. I mean, it's up to you. You can waste your time. I've been said, oh, we're going to manifest. No, we're not manifesting. I'm not. Well, you can. I'm out. I'm not fucking with that shit. I always knew. So she did do that one. All right. But where's that video where she's talking about the songs? And like I said, there ain't too much new. You got the Taylor Swift and all that, and Beyonce and Lady Gaga. But the main one, like she said, pointed out that Lady Gaga got the new one is all out. And yeah, the people, the witches, all of them, they're all happy. Like, oh, I knew immediately this is a protection song. It's like, bitch, you ain't got, you think that's protection. That remind me, like I said, that one Kung Fu movie, it made me feel bad. I think I was a kid when I saw it. The Saturday Kung Fu Theater. And it was like based it was a regular Kung Fu movie, but it was around the turn of the century. Even though Chinese people invented gunpowder, but white folks, British. So at this point, though, they got machine guns, and the Chinese had never seen it, or at least not these monks. But the rest of the people, well, the other, what I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't remember exactly, but that's what I had been saying about what they do now. They keep coming by me doing these little signs, or holding a cup of water, or smoking a cigarette, or what, or just driving. But trying to put a spell. It reminded me of that Chinese movie, that kung fu movie. Kung fu theater. And their teacher told them that if you do this and some kind of magic and do your little so when the British Army come with their guns, the bullets won't affect you. And so these idiots literally went, and when they came and they doing the war, going to finna get into a fight, whatever, and they pull out their machine guns or whatever. Yeah, they had at this point the machine guns weren't invented. They were, so it must have been the early 1900s. That's when the time period for the movie. And yeah, they got wiped out. They just mowed them down. They thought this spell would work. And this is like what I feel like with these Democrats right now with this nonsense, all of it. They big gun now seem to be Lady Gaga, as I guess they figure, yeah, the more people, but that's how I feel like. It's like these fools just really don't know. I don't know. Like it's even more dangerous than I think. They're suicidal. And that's the feeling I get. Like, oh man, these fools really think this shit, because it's too many Christians that know what they're doing, and your protection spell, and that I give credit for that one. Yeah, once we know, it's over. We know what we're fighting against. But most of us, yeah, she did one about the fraternities, and I'm like, yeah, everybody knew that. Well, we do now. But a couple of years ago, all these fraternities demonic. That's what they're talking about. The boule, the black boule. That's all of it. The Democrats, they're all of it. Yeah, here it is. Music artists are.
Hi, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you're prepared for today's video because I was not prepared for what was to be found researching for this topic, and I am going to make a very bold claim here and say that you will never look at music the same ever again after.
But the same thing is not a bold claim like that. It's like, yeah, you're kind of late. Like they been, Pimp C said that shit in the early two. Like I said, I remember my homeboy came to the house, they was after him like literally then. This was like in 2007. Everybody remember that in all black neighborhoods. The blood sacrifice. This nigga not. What? Somebody after you? You got to see this. It was a DVD. I think it came. I think it's on YouTube. Yeah, it had all that, what's the one from American Idol, Jennifer Hudson. Remember her family got killed? That was the blood sac. That's what I keep talking about, the sacrifice, to get famous. And Michael Jordan daddy, he got, but I'm like, Jordan was already fit, but then it's like, maybe that's the gambling stuff. He had gambled so bad, he had to, because remember, his dad didn't die till the 90s. And had they won the championships already? But either way, they're like, yeah, remember his dad was on the side of the road. Bill Cosby. His son was on. A lot of, okay, they just, y'all just. But either way, it's like, nah, girl, you're late. But decades late. Everybody been said that. And then they been all out in the open now. Remember the Olympics? The other things that was, all red and, Oscars or whatever, or maybe not, or whatever it was, all these ceremonies in the last couple of years, all out in the open. I guess the stuff they used to do, hidden, now they all out in the open. But the the stuff though, because I just don't see, most of us just don't pay attention, and we're not in danger for not paying attention. It's just
that you will never look at music the same ever
and then
again.
it's out, like, that's why the music sucks now, because they trying to put out spells and trying to, instead of trying to write a real song with you know, there's actually quality lyrics. Instead, it's some stupid spell. And since you got to stay into a parameter, I guess, of witchcraft, you can't make it make sense or whatever.
Today's video. And being that in recent videos we have confirmed that there are so many artists that are actually practicing witches, but does the witchcraft that they are practicing interfere with the music that they are creating? Are these artists casting?
Yes, that's what I just said. It does. That's why the music is crap and bullshit. That's what I've been saying. I said it on, I think I said it before. Like, what are they dancing to? You know, you watch some of their videos, it's like that. It has no soul. And then the dancers, there's not even dancers. They're just doing movement. Even the black folks is like, what are y'all doing? You're just making moves.
Spells on their listeners. I know, guys, this is crazy. I'm so excited for today's video. Let's dive in.
But anyway, that's the one, you know. So then, like I said, I was gonna go on X first. And when somebody posted this, when was that? 4 hours ago. Flashback to when Katy Perry malfunctioned and had to be yeah, they are demons. I mean, everybody knows, yeah, nowadays, remember they used to say Soul Soul, you know, we thought it was just, you know, whatever, you know, Soul. Remember that guy, the story of the black guy, Soul at the crossroads, the guitar player, at, you know, sometime back in the 1930s or 40s, at the crossroads. He can't even, you know, get the words out, whatever it is. And you know, they probably said back then, oh, it's this exhaustion and, you know, the taurine like that and yada yada yada. But anyway, I'm out.